and watch the dawn. Sit tight, let's explore. Get ready to take flight. Get with this cosmic trip. Mother Earth is a mothership. Better know when it's time to dip. She's heading out tonight. Gotta give, gotta live, gotta care, gotta teach, gotta reach, gotta learn, gotta love. No more time to be blind to the signs. Use your mind to remind you. It's time to go. From the streets to the stars to the sun and the moon. When it's time, gotta be in tune. 'Cause the ship is taking off soon.
Don't miss the flight, just get on board. Space highway fly when we see you. Don't miss the flight. Don't miss the flight.
'Cause the ship is taking off soon. Wake up, human race. Ain't got no time to waste. Turn on your inner space. We're headed towards the light. Get serious like the star. Where you going? Don't need no car. It's not far. It's in your heart. You can make it if you try. Gotta love, gotta live, gotta give and receive. Gotta flow with the G, gotta breathe. Be aware of the signs of the times. Use your mind to align you.
Act like you know.
From the streets to the stars to the sun and the moon. This time gotta be in tune. 'Cause the ship is taking off soon.
Don't miss the flight, just get on board. Space highway fly when we see you. Don't miss the flight. Get into the sky. Don't miss the flight. One day to the earth.
'Cause the ship is taking off soon.
These are the days we gon' sing about. Space high we fly when we see you. Mountain tops roar from the lion smoke. Sit high we rise when we chanting. The negative icons where they come. Look up, can you see her? The mothership comes from all around. Don't miss the flight. Don't miss the flight, just get on board. Space high we fly when we see you. Don't miss the flight. Don't miss the flight. Don't miss the flight.
From the streets to the stars to the sun and the moon. When it's time, gotta be in tune. 'Cause the ship is taking off now.
Greetings, everybody out there tuning in today all around the world. Welcome to The Movement, presented by PR 1328. My name is Makua Ray, and it is a true honor to be here with you on this auspicious day of all days, this end of the Gregorian calendar year. So for those who celebrate, Happy New Year for all that's forthcoming. And for those who are also navigating the new time, I would say happy middle of the year. Since for us who obviously observe a 1328 natural timing frequency, we're in the 19th day of the 6th month out of a 13-month year. So we're almost to the middle. But we wanted to come online today just given the fact that there's so much going on the planet, and there's a lot that we want to elevate in our consciousness and bring to awareness. And for many people out there, they'll be familiar with the movement as a platform that I helped launch back in 1997 in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. in the United States. And it was a cultural arts pillar in the community. Every Monday for over 10 years, we held a sacred space at a place called Bar None on U Street, Northwest D.C. And then that place became a venue called Pure a few years after that. And I think it's still around. But nevertheless, we're excited to be here today just to bring all this energy forward from 26 years ago when we launched that endeavor to see where we are now and kind of take a pulse for where we are in the scheme of things, right? So we welcome everybody tuning in who has resonated with the idea of the movement. And just, we're here to have a discussion today. We're here to open the way for a creative series that will hopefully bring forward a lot of artists who were participants in the movement in Washington, D.C., and the movement in Atlanta, Georgia, where we also did an installation of the same platform, very similar theme, very similar intention. But I'm also very, very blessed to have my brother Ruben Yinis here with me in council, as you can see him on the screen alongside me. And I just want to say, hola, good brother. Peace and blessings to you today. How's it going?
Peace and blessings, brother Makua. And can you hear me? Is it
Perfectly.
sound check good?
Perfectly. Sounds wonderful.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this celebration and for this opportunity to gather across the planet virtually, as you did in DC, and as I was also part of the revival of that back in 2017 when we did these type of gatherings in a community space on U Street in Washington D.C. and had the opportunity to meet amazing people from that community, from those roots.
Yeah.
And what better street to do this type of work than U Street, huh? Because we are all like, yeah, we are all in Lakesh. We are all reflections of each other, and this is a really good opportunity in time to meet virtually and share this same energy that we shared live in DC
Mm.
with an international audience. So thank you so much for holding that space for so many years and for being part of the seeding of this new consciousness on the planet and on a place with such a critical position on the planet, like on the geopolitical and the also geodesic
Mm.
or geomantic level.
Hmm.
uh, Such an important node for transmitting this energy of what is possible and how to bring a time of peace and replace the time of war.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ruben. And indeed, it's been quite a long time. We've been about this work, you as well, and others like us who are creatives, who are artists, educators, just all around open-hearted human beings who recognize that, all this time there's been a bit of a dissonance in the background. We haven't quite been able to put our finger on it. But
Hmm.
given that today is the time where so much attention around the world is placed on the completion of a Gregorian calendar cycle, I figured
Hmm.
it would be very important for us to drop in together and to help make conscious, help make sacred, and create some art from this, just to help raise an awareness for folks tuning in that perhaps part of the dissonance and the disconnect we feel is because for too long we've been actually tuning ourselves to a desynchronous timing frequency. This is
Hmm.
something we've been sharing information about and providing tools to support people in, I would say, memory retrieval, in gathering back their consciousness from an otherwise pretty heartless system.
Yeah.
So I don't want to overshadow the fact that as everybody's in a jubilous state today, because it's the end of a year and we've just gotten through the holy days and the holiday season, it's also a very seductive time that we always find ourselves sucked back into year after year. And at some point, we have to make an assertion, a decision, a personal choice to say, you know what? I recognize the dissonance and I want to increase more harmony in my life. And so that's the reason that we want to deposit this launch. It's a multi-dimensional, I'd say, a multi-purpose launch and relaunch of the movement, as you said, from U Street, now all the way here, making a bit of a U-turn in a way to return
Hmm.
to the roots for me, culturally, artistically, creatively, and
Hmm.
also again, just finding creative ways to use digital media to connect. I mean, obviously 1997 was prior to any of the social media platforms. We didn't have these mediums 26
Hmm.
years ago to promote our events. We actually had the opportunity to meet people person to person, peer to peer, hand in hand, handing flyers to people, letting them know about our events on U Street and that kind of thing. So it was a far more personal time. Um, and yet we didn't have the benefit of global reach the way we have today. So I'm just enjoying the ability and the opportunity to retrospectively look back at where we've been, how far we've come, and actually where we're going. I want to actually bring on the screen our brother Bilal Abdul Samad, Bilal Samadhi, to join the broadcast and get into the conversation with us a little bit as we're going to navigate some arts and some context and things like this. And so without further ado, we'll welcome Bilal Abdul Samad to the screen. Brother B.
Greetings, family.
What's
One
up?
love.
One love. We
Every
have
time.
generations of the movement event right here on the screen. So this is incredible, just to take the chance to spend some time with you all as we reintroduce the movement to a new global audience. As I was just explaining to Ruben, when we started the movement in 1997 in DC, we didn't have the social media platforms that are available to us at our fingertips today. So we didn't have the reach globally that now, in the evolution of technology and the evolution of the planet, is now at our fingertips. It's unbelievable. We
Yes, it is.
barely had emails to promote an open mic. You know what I mean? So now
Exactly.
everybody's a marketer, everybody's a promoter, everybody's a content maker, which is incredible. I mean, to me, that's like the ethos of time is art. Use your time creatively, versus just chasing the money and the monetary system. But in any case, I want to welcome you, Brother Bilal, and just take time to acknowledge your role, because after 97, about 10 years later, when I got a chance to connect with you and your brother Taj, we launched the movement in Atlanta. So maybe you want to share a little bit of insight about that from your recollection.
Yeah. I just mainly want to share that, the movement here in Atlanta, it was more than just an open mic. Like, it was like a life changer for a lot of people, I think, and it was the type of thing that inspired us and made us want to come back the next week prepared with more creativity, come back with something to share. And so many relationships, so many connections happened from the movement. It was just that type of hub where it's like transformation occurred, and I see us bringing that forward again in this digital age, and I see how necessary it is and how there's such a big open lane for this type of thing. I have some amazingly creative young people in my life, like some family, some nieces, nephews, and they never experienced that. They never experienced that energy that we tapped into. And though they have their own thing also.
Yeah.
Though it's a beautiful thing to be able to bridge that, to bring that back together and share some of those vibes from back then and be able to receive some of this new energy from the youth today as well. And it's always beautiful to see generations, to see that gap being bridged. That's what we need more and more these days. So I really just appreciate that I was a part of, the movement in ATL, and that I was able to experience a little bit of what it was in DC as well. And to be a part of bringing it forward again in this time. So, especially with an amazing, wonderful, mystic team like you, great brothers.
Sure.
I appreciate you guys. Word, extremely. So give thanks.
Yes, blessings to you as well, Baba. So many directions we could take the conversation. One of the things I wanted to help conscious now, as we said, obviously this is New Year's Eve all around the world. Some places it's already New Year's Day, for those who are in the future from where we are. I'm based in LA now, and I know Ruben is down in Oaxaca, Mexico, and Bilal is in Atlanta, Georgia. So even just that triangulation is not something we could have imagined 26 years ago, to be here and actually be able to create a space like this. So with that said, I want to also pivot a little bit, because we want to celebrate a couple of things as we come forward. As you mentioned, we have a wonderful creative team who has come together. And among that team is my beloved Ishel, and she has blessed us. I want to find a way to share the screen, because she has absolutely blessed us with an incredible new website for PR 1328. And I want to talk a little bit about what PR 1328 actually means in terms of the name, and why that name is so resonant and so relevant, especially on a day like today, as everybody's pondering the end of the year. And there's, as Ruben indicated, there's a whole lot going on the planet. We're in a profound time of transition. And the acceleration of the transition is never before, as far as I know, experienced in my lifetime. And I think collectively we're experiencing a sort of acceleration. And as we're navigating this transitional time, it's important that we stay grounded, we stay in the heart. That's a very important orientation to keep, because there's a lot that could get us swept up into a melee of influences. There's a lot of agendas that may be happening around the planet to take people in a certain direction. Some may say it's nefarious or otherwise. But you got to understand, for us, back in 97, we were having conversations about some relatively controversial things. We were talking from a perspective of a younger generation, as now Bilal's nephews and nieces with great talent. We were those youth then, you see, and we were coming into our awareness as well, which on some level we had guides, we have elders, but everything was moving so fast prior to the millennium. We were kind of the transition team in Washington, D.C. And as Ruben also pointed out, it's not like we were in a random place. We were in the nation's capital in the United States, holding this energy, holding this field of transformation. And it's one of those things, this being our 25th year, we're literally at the end of this Gregorian year. So we're moving into year 26. And I was thinking that, 25 is a great number. It's a great milestone to reflect on. But from a purpose of the message or meaning of numbers, 26 has an even more profound meaning to me personally. It's half of the number 52. And for those who are tuned into the 1328 frequency, they'll appreciate that it is that is a frequency that's half of a person's Sirius cycle, we may call it, or what is in some estimations considered one day in the noosphere, that human 52-year cycle. So this year that we're moving into is a powerful alignment of factors that we're only becoming more and more increasingly conscious of every day. And I want to point out that one of the things that's important about us representing the movement now is it's not just about the civil rights movement or the social justice movement, even though that was some of the initial inspiration. What I've come to appreciate is that the movement and what we're holding space for is the movement of all life through the cosmos. This is the movement that we're all part of, no matter what we may think or believe or say. We're all a part of the movement of life, literally. And so to be able to put that context out for people now, and that they can see the movement as a sacred place for them to express and experience and share in community, even if we're not physically together. Geographic location doesn't need to prevent the evolution that we're navigating together. And so as a planetary body, Bilal and I initiated something in the year 2005 called Planet Restoration, along with his brother Taj. And this was inspired out of a gathering called BGD, Beyond the Global Divide, with our beloved elder Audrey Scott Williams, who, along with her son Michael Ware, convened this gathering of indigenous leaders, indigenous wisdom keepers, and young leaders, young people from around the world. And so this was the second such gathering of BGD in 2005 up in Tiger Mountain, Georgia. And I remember to the day, Bilal, you and I sitting in the minivan outside of the common area where everybody would gather for council and everything. And we were getting this download of like, okay, we got to take this energy and do something and put an ecological framework into it through the arts. So that was the very beginning of us actually shifting into that direction with the purpose of, essentially amplifying regenerative arts and culture. And so that was, as I said, 2005. And so now here we are 17 years later. Now, interestingly, 17 is the frequency of the Earth glyph when you look at the qualities of the time science. So those who understand that time science of the 20 tribes, so-called, of the 20 solar glyphs, 17 is the Earth. And we intentionally launched that vehicle 17 years ago. It'll be 18 here, obviously, soon. But nevertheless, I wanted to go ahead and share with everybody the beautiful website that Ishel has blessed us with. It's pretty unbelievable. And we want to encourage everybody to go tap in at the website. We have a wonderful shop there. We'll give you all a little preview right now so you can check it out. But, it's just a beautiful website, and it's actually a companion platform to the relaunch of the movement. And people going there can find all sorts of music. Our group Mystic Column, Bilal and I, we have a great project we put out a couple of years ago in alignment with the Great Conjunction called Serious Codes. And these are creative endeavors to give people an on-ramp to this high resonance frequency. It's medicine is in the music, and the medicine of frequency, energy medicine, can be experienced when you tap into this music. And you'll find a lot of pearls. It's the kind of thing you can put on and listen to again and again. I'm also happy to announce that through Foundation for Noospheric Consciousness, in collaboration with Planet Restoration, we've begun to do some outreach projects with different communities around the world. And our first project is with a group called Bethen Amba Eco Village, based out of Lalibela, Ethiopia. And this is an initiative led by a brother named Tarek Bey Mersha, who will have some participation with on the next broadcast next month about this project. But people can find out more information about this on the website. There's a great video there, an explainer video where Audrey Scott Williams actually goes in. In fact, let's listen to a little bit of that right now. Hopefully it comes through. And let me know if you all are able to hear it. All right. Little buffer, it seems.
Greetings. I am Audrey Scott Williams, and it is an honor and a pleasure to have an opportunity.
Little buffering.
To invite you to be a part of a project that I think is more than a project.
I'd say we're going to invite people to go check it out. The video's on the website. We don't want to overtax the platform right now. But in any case, we have this fantastic project we're excited to adopt and work with Tarek Bey to really bring some resources, some much needed resources to these subsistence farmers. As he was explaining to me recently, he's trying to help them make the shift from subsistence farming towards regenerative farming, and to actually engage regenerative practices there in Ethiopia, which you would think that's already the norm. But in fact, as he was sharing with me, a lot of the farmers there end up getting their pesticides, their fertilizers from Europe. So, that's complicated. That's kind of a problem, We don't need to try to unpack that right now, but the fact is, we are all about amplifying regenerative arts and culture, and we know this brother is doing an important work for his local village. And for those who are unfamiliar with Lalibela, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's considered one of the 7 new wonders of the world, or maybe one of the ancient ones. But in any case, it's a very ancient rock-hewn cathedral village. Like these temples, these ancient Ethiopian Orthodox churches are hewn out of one stone. They were created to be sacred temples, holy temples. And some even say, and Mama Audrey has intimated to me in the past, that this is where the Ark of the Covenant actually exists. It exists there to this day, and she, has been made privy to that fact. Although she's not at liberty to talk much about it because it's obviously a very high matter of discretion. But nevertheless, it gives you a sense of the potency of that place and the purpose that it serves for stabilizing the spiritual energy on the planet right now. And so we're doing what we can to work with Tarek Bey and to bring awareness to the general global public about what they're trying to do to make the transition from subsistence to regenerative farming and create a flow of ecotourism there for their community. Go ahead, B.
Yeah, and just to check, can you hear me? Because I have the phone set down. I don't want to. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and just to mention, I live as a second home. The Gambia, West Africa is a second home to me, as well as Senegal. And I noticed something similar with the parts of Africa that I've been to, where they're shipping in most of their fruits and vegetables, your avocados and all the good stuff. They're shipping it in from Europe or somewhere else, And as we see these days, it's like the bubble of truth has popped. There is no more secrets anymore. There are no more secrets. And we're seeing the concentration of this bubble popping right now. So for those who are aware and conscious and who want to play a part in the movement, in the transformation to a higher level, that's what planet restoration is about. It's about solutions, and it's about interacting with this growth and change and this movement of the planet, of the universe. Rather than just looking at it as a spectator, like, wow, that's crazy. I can't believe that's happening. Or, to interact, have a hand, ways to resonate, with music. That also helps with us harmonizing with the holo mind, like to where we can begin to communicate again on higher levels, So everything that planet restoration is about interacting with the growth and interacting with this transformation of the planet. I notice, like, there's websites like World Star where, there's killing on there. There's all types of crazy stuff. And it's like, we want to change this stuff. We want to switch out what's not working for us with things that we can interact with that have higher vibrations, and we want to put our attention in places that will yield a give back, something regenerative, and that's what planet restoration is all about, to take part in the restoration of the planet, So just wanted to mention that. And this initiative is a great way to start, and we'll have more and more initiatives as we go along. So more and more chances for us to be involved, with this movement. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Exactly. No, thank you for that. I also want to let people tuning in know that these initiatives are tax deductible. Their contributions to the initiative in Ethiopia, for example, is tax deductible through Foundation for Noospheric Consciousness. So we do encourage people to visit the website, pr1328.com, and find out how you can get involved. Look under the tab Community, under the menu item, because this is our way of helping create a larger global community of like-minded, like-spirited folks who do see a regenerative future ahead of us.
And one more thing, when you go into the website, there's a prompt, there's a pop-up that will prompt you to add your email, your information, and that's a great way for us to stay in contact. And we'll be having lots of things upcoming, so we'll be able to let you all know, keep you updated on, we'll have actual live things as well, pop-ups here and there. And because like McCoy said, he's in Los Angeles, I'm here in Atlanta, all over. We'll have things coming up, so we want to keep you all abreast of what's going on. And we have some offerings as well. Once you put in your information, we'll send you an email and you will see the offerings. It's all for our upliftment and transformation, for our growth as a unit. And we're doing our best to pull together the family, pull as well as the movement family, the ones that were there to witness it, as well as the ones who are ready to engage now, So we want to bring us all together so that once we do have events, everyone will know we can come together, So give thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that as well. And as you said, people can go there. They can get a nice 10% discount at the PR shop. We have a lot of great stuff in the shop. We want to encourage people to go take a visit there. If you want to buy yourself something nice or buy something nice for a loved one, we have some great designs. As you can see, we have all sorts of things. So with that said, we invite you and encourage you to visit the website at your convenience, pr1328.com. And you'll see that on some of our lower thirds here in case you forget. But nevertheless, we encourage you that. I mean, we have obviously cultural centric ideas. I mean, the great mud cloth on the sweatshirt and on the sneakers and the backpack. I know that was your inspiration. Michelle designed some great things with that. And we have obviously also our logo for PR1328 that appears with the circumpolar rainbow bridge, which we understand the science of. And so it's important that in the science of the times and the science of time, that we don't get lost to defer the meaning or value or purpose of the rainbow offhandedly without understanding that it's the science of your rainbow body. It's the science of your spiritual body. And that's what it's always meant to us. It's been a reflection of prophecy. And you'll notice again the rainbow bridge artwork on a lot of the items you'll find there, the sweatshirts and things like that. So enjoy looking around in our shop. We invite you to do that. And just as Bilal said, just know that whatever you're able to contribute goes to support initiatives like this, the one in Bethan Amba, as well as allowing us to continue to provide this type of high resonance media to a growing global audience, which is what we know our purpose is about. And Brother Ruben, I know that right now things are happening in real time for you. And I want to mention that you just published, I think, to the Harmonic Convergence 2020 to 2028 page, probably a very important article, knowing that you are the writer, the researcher among us in a major way. And I want to encourage people to go there in order to, Oh, that's awesome. May I ask if you will briefly speak about the calendar and how we can slowly transition? This is from the audience. Awesome. We have a question right on time from the audience. And the question says, may I ask if you will briefly speak about the calendar? You're up, Ruben. And how we can slowly transition into this. So I think that's a great way to segue. Maybe you can share a little bit about your article and you can answer this question from Melanie Cornacchia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From Melanie Cornacchia, who's tuning in to the movement right now.
Wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity, Brother Maku, and congratulations to all the PR 1328 team that redesigned the website. It looks really amazing. It's part of that new culture, and this is the time for these initiatives to take magic flight, because we just 10 days ago we just had like the last day of the 10-day light vigil for the solstice, and here we are 10 days later having this live stream discussing such an important subject as the Gregorian calendar, because if the Gregorian calendar, which is the global civil standard for time reckoning on Earth as we speak, if this instrument is examined, then we start to find a lot of aspects of it that are detrimental to our health. This is the only instrument, scientific instrument, that doesn't has a standard unit of measure. So what we can see on the screen right now is the comparison between the Gregorian calendar and its irregular nature. As we can see, January has 28 days, January has 31 days, February 28, March 31, April 30th. So this irregularity added to the fact that it doesn't track any natural cycle, any celestial movement of the moon, the stars, the sun. The only thing that we are probably celebrating today from an astronomical perspective is really that we completed one orbit around the sun since December 31st, 2021. But that's it. There is not any natural measurement behind this system. So the days like today and tomorrow, which are the bridge between one year and the other, one cycle and the next, are the perfect opportunity to speak about this, because this is not the type of conversation that what we usually hold to on this day. We hold the conversation around New Year's resolutions and our intentions for the next year and the next cycle, and what we want to let go from this year, and how we want to focus our energy in the next. But it is not supported by nature. Nothing out there or up there is happening that is supporting that intention. So it's like planting a seed on sand. While on the other side, what we can see here on the screen is the difference between the Gregorian system, or what we call the old time matrix or artificial time matrix, which is comprised by a macro program, which is the Gregorian calendar, and a micro program, which is the mechanical clock. Both of these programs that serve as tools to organize our daily life are not based or not synchronized with anything that is happening in nature. So it puts us in our bodies and our cells start to have a very different relationship with time, that what time really is. I remember that when I had my first contact with this information was it was in 2010. Dr. Jose Arguelles was giving a lecture on the importance of December 21st, 2012. And he was making emphasis that he was speaking about this date on a Sunday, on a Gregorian Sunday, but that was just a mind construct that we hold as an agreement. So the calendar is, first of all, a program, and then an agreement, because we all, in a way, we all agree that today is December 31st, 2022. But it's not December 31st for the birds, and it's not December 31st for the dolphins, and it's not December 31st in the moon, and it's not December 31st in the sun or in the Pleiades or anywhere more than in our heads, because time is of the mind and space is of the senses, and our consciousness is the connecting link between those two matrices, time and space. we have sort of a good idea of where we are in space, where is our bodies, where are our bodies located, and we have all these tools today to measure GPS and find our location by a satellite, but we don't have a real good idea of our position in time, our coordinates, and this creates like a misalignment of our consciousness that is very subtle, that is very profound, because it distorts all our perceptual reality. So I invite people to. We just published an article on the harmonicfactor.com in Medium, where we kind of peel that onion, because the Gregorian calendar is just the tip of the iceberg of a much larger and complex system to reckon time that is completely arbitrary and artificial. So the deeper we go into the layers of how we arrive to use this irrational, irregular tool as a way to program our lives, we need to go back in history and peel that layer by layer, that history layer by layer, and see what are the origins of this date, why we celebrate January 1st. This is probably a question that very little or very few people ask themselves, like why today is the start of a new year? Why not the solstice, for instance? Why not July 26th, when we start to measure the 13 moon year, which is the heliacal rising of the star Sirius? So this is in this article we go very deep into like 6 layers of encryption of this artificial timing system that for myself was an exercise in also in exerting my mind and really dissect all the components of this artificial timing matrix to really appreciate the fact that today is the last day of the year 440 of the Gregorian calendar that started in 1582 with the Gregorian reform. And what we do in the article is that we go back from that reform and see what happened, how we ended up here, and what is how our entire reality is embedded into this timing frequency that is not natural, that is not in tune with nature, with our bodies, with the cosmos, with the moon, and that is the I think it's a starting point to realize that this closing of year 440 and the start of the year 441 is a very key nexus point between the two years, because year 2023 will mark the start of the year 441 of the Gregorian calendar, which is equivalent to 21 cycles of 21 years each. So basically, tomorrow we start the year 21 of the cycle 21 of the Gregorian calendar. And we know the power of 21 is 3 times 7, and it's holds sacred in organizations like AA, and we always hear about the most habits. We are able to program a new habit every 21 days of fasting or whatever addiction we are in search of healing. 21 days is always like a good benchmark to measure our progress. So this closing of this 21st cycle of this of this year 21 of the Gregorian calendar, it's the closing of a major point in human history. So we need to make this conscious life because a lot of the information that is presented on this article was not even conscious for me just a few hours ago. It's being made conscious as we speak. The article was actually published as we were introducing the website of PR 1328. So it's all synchronized, and thank you for the person who asked the question, because it was also a perfect moment to speak about this and to present it to the public in a way that that we can really see it as a whole. So far, for the past few years, we have been making emphasis just on the Gregorian calendar, but we have never addressed the layers behind it. And in this article, we go deep and explore how these layers are basically how software companies and financial institutions calculate their interest and their numbers. They use these different factors or these different aspects of the artificial time matrix as a way to program everything. And probably for those people who are tuning in and who pay rent, we pay usually more rent on February than in any other month of the Gregorian year, and which is a real simple way to comprehend that it's not a fair instrument. Is not it doesn't engenders more harmony, but it creates this noise or mental noise and the disharmony that we see present on the planet so vividly this year, that we were bombarded with the news, what is happening in Europe all year long. So that has been the main focus of attention, and all the other important aspects of our evolution and our path or our mission here on Earth are being really covered by all this propaganda that we hear in the media and the news about the imminent possibility of war. But there is another story happening in the background, and what we want to make conscious with these articles is that different story is like a hidden harmony that is being uncovered, and is being uncovered in real time, which is the beautiful aspect about this. I don't know if
that is absolutely incredible. And thank you for that explanation. And hopefully Melanie is encouraged to go and download the free PDF. I want to bring it. Oh, wonderful. I want to bring it on screen for folks because we're putting this link all over the internet, particularly today. Obviously, we want to encourage you to make a new time resolution. And one simple way to do that is to just begin to use a different lens. If you want to get a different perspective, try a different lens. And the 13-month, 28-day calendar is a lens of harmony and synchronicity, just by design, by nature's design. So it is, in a way, you taking back the sovereignty of you as a time being. I mean, we get into information as well for folks that want to go a little deeper about how the timing frequencies are encoded in our physiology, because we have the 13 articulating joints that allow for our physical movement of our body, and we have the 28 phalanges, the flex points, the flexors of our hands that we use to count. This is the most fundamental way of counting, and that together creates the natural timing frequency of 1328, just like PR is emphasizing, and just like we've been emphasizing for many years. But we're not the only ones. We're carrying on and advancing the work of some tremendously great souls that went to a lot of lengths to try to wake up humanity in time. Because in order for us to avert certain disaster, as the way the prophecies go, if humanity wants to avoid biospheric destruction, we absolutely must return to living in tune with natural time. And with that said, I want to shift over quickly, and thank you, Ruben, for that incredible explanation. I just want to make sure we share with people a bit about this solution, this tool that we've been sharing with folks for quite a while. It's called the 13-month, 28-day transitional calendar. Now, this is some beautiful art design, and as you can see, this is designed by Ruben himself, just high quality, beautiful artwork, and I'll call it heart work, like Bilal's platform as well. It's artwork, heart work, and time is art, time is heart. Again, we want to get people resensitized to their soul. There's no other way to really put it, and that is your consciousness. And we want you to anchor your consciousness in the heart and not be caught up in the combine of the head, because that's where a lot of things are thrown at us energetically and through the ethers and through the ionosphere, through satellite media communications. I mean, there are so many different inputs happening all the time unless you really unplug. Now, for those of us in the West who can't just unplug completely, a great alternative is to shift the lens through which we perceive time. And so, as an example, today for me is not necessarily December 31st. Of course, that's the global agreement, and we all globally have agreed collectively that tomorrow issues a new year in the Gregorian system. That's all well and good. However, from a natural timing perspective, that's actually anchored with celestial resonance, with actual celestial references that orient our entire planet in time and space to a particular phase or shift, that we provide the 13 moon 28-day calendar. And as I said earlier, we're in month 6, day 19 today. You can see that highlighted on the screen. So in the natural time 13-month 28-day calendar, or the 13 moon calendar as it's referred, or the galactic calendar as it's also referred to by, today is day 19 of moon 6. And today also carries a very special sacred quality, as every day is sacred, right? That's kind of an understatement, frankly. But we don't hold any one day up over another necessarily, because every day is equally sacred. It's the same principle of equality among humanity. Every kin, every person is equally sacred. There's no discriminating or, diminishing anybody's sacredness. And I just want to make that point. But then also I want to share with you the code for today. As you can see in that cell, on the 19th cell, you also see there something that says 227 in the upper corner. And the 227 signifies what's called the galactic signature frequency of today. And every day carries both its 13 moon 28-day frequency, today being day 19, but it also carries its galactic signature frequency. The 28-day cycle relates to human fertility, as women all over the world certainly know directly. They inherently have this orientation that me, as a man, I have to get through consciousness. I don't have a regulatory cycle in my physiology that I'm attuned to. I don't know what that's like. So for me, my job is to actually imbue my consciousness that I can be in sync with nature. And so one way we can do this for Melanie and anybody else out there exploring is to begin to tune in to the frequency of each day and these tremendously elegant recurring patterns and cycles that are all throughout nature. And this happens to be how it's reflected in time. So today is Kin 227, blue rhythmic hand. I organize in order to know, balancing healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power doubled. And I think just even taking the time to resonate for how that meaning lands in your own heart and soul is a beautiful way to begin to resensitize yourself to nature's timing. Actually take the time deliberately to tune in, It's kind of like checking the weather. What is the energetic weather according to the natural time frequency of a given day? And also today, a beautiful thing to recognize is that it is the 6th moon, and today's signature happens to carry a tone 6, which is all about organized balance, equality. We're organizing this broadcast today to bring some balance and healing and neutralize the boo-boo as much as we can contribute to the shift. Everybody can do something because, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, everyone can do something because everyone can serve. So this is the form in which our service has taken for years. I mean, here we're celebrating the movement 25, 26 years. That's a form the service has taken. We're celebrating the movement with Bilal in Atlanta since 2007. That's another form the service has taken. We're celebrating the calendar referendum initiative that launched on Indigenous Peoples Day in 2016. That's another form the service has taken. So we encourage you, whatever it is, find out what is yours to do, what is yours to contribute to the shift. And today, again, bearing the 6th tone and being moon 6 or month 6 is what's called a magic turtle day. So one example of, again, the timing frequency in nature is every turtle has 13 scutes, it's called, or scales on the back of its shell. They have 13 large scutes. You can look this up. And they also have, and I'll say not every, because some leatherback turtle just has one big leather humpback, right? But the most turtles designed by nature itself, which is why we call it turtle time, and you'll see the turtle glyph in the upper right-hand corner of every month of the calendar, where we're counting the 13 moons according to the turtle shell, according to natural timing. Because again, these frequency patterns show up in nature. It's there before us. It's just up to now we haven't been conscious of it. So tools like this can provide a new lens through which to perceive and make conscious, because then you can make sacred when you have a proper orientation from consciousness of what you're making sacred, right? What you're focusing your time on. And so with that said, I wanted to just posit that for folks tuning in as a sense of what they can actually begin to do and what a good entry point is. And I appreciate Melanie's question, because she said, how can we transition into it? And, there's a lot important being shared, I think, today. And as Ruben also stated, there's a lot that's being revealed in real time that we're only discovering during the broadcast or even moments before going on the broadcast. Is this how things are happening at this point of acceleration right now? And it's not special to us. It's everybody is going through this in one way or another. But I wanted to make conscious and just mention that operating this new calendar and beginning to make that decision is a great transition, because it actually allows you to check in every day. And you have a reference to the Gregorian calendar, so you're not going to lose your orientation to like the business calendar. Let's just call it what it is. It's a business calendar. It's not a biological calendar. It's a business calendar. So obviously we have to still function in the world with each other. We have to handle our business. Oh, we just lost B on the broadcast, but one quick second as we recover that. But we realize that there are things that will be benefited relative to our human biology, and especially relative to the biosphere. We want to recognize the 3 B's. You got biology, you have biosphere, and then you have business. So we're inviting people to make the transition without completely unhooking from the Gregorian calendar, because that's not very pragmatic at all. And we realize that that's part of the reason why this effort to change the calendar has not actually yet completely happened, because the critical mass required to literally drive a pole shift with calendar consciousness on a planetary scale is a very delicate process. But it's also a process we have to understand. After being controlled directly and through force for 441 years, and that's just in the case of the Gregorian calendar, not to even mention the Julian calendar, as I know Ruben's article goes way into those layers. It's not enough just to unpack the Gregorian calendar. We have to recognize the roots of this go back to 45 BC, for God's sakes. I mean, this is an old old time control paradigm, and it changes every 500 years or so into something different. The question now is, how are we going to direct the change? Because, like Bilal also mentioned, there's nowhere to hide from the truth anymore. Like, when they created the internet, they literally made it impossible. All that could happen is confusion. So if you weren't truth, you would at least be confused because there's so much conflicting information. But along with all this conflicting information, we're also evolving. We're also returning to cognizance and consciousness. We're waking up on a planetary scale. And you can't put it back in the box. All you can try to do is cancel it. That's the best they've come up with at this point. So you can best believe there have been efforts, deliberate efforts, to cancel any effort to change the calendar. But you have to ask yourself, well, why would that be, and who benefits by keeping it business as usual? It's not the mass of humanity, and it damn sure certainly is not Mother Earth. We have to understand this is an imperative that our lives actually depend upon. So I don't want to take away from people's reverie of today and their intoxication of whatever it is they're planning to do to bring in the lights and colors tonight. But the fact of the matter is, planet Earth is being denigrated in ways that we're not even remotely conscious to. Now, how do we make that transition? Is we make ourselves conscious to it, and we begin to align ourselves with something called the noosphere, meaning the mental field of the earth. And that mental field of the earth is a very viable living thing. Some people call it the Akashic records. Some people refer to it as, there's multiple terminologies, but you can imagine it is a layer, much like the ionosphere or the atmosphere, but it is the thinking layer and can best be visualized as that circumpolar rainbow bridge. That is us making the noosphere a real, conscious, factual reality. And that's a part of the imperative that all of us on this frequency recognize. Like, this is why we actually coordinate ourselves as much as possible to be conscious of those frequency patterns, because we don't want to get swept up into the unconscious pathway that's rolling across the planet right now. And it's taking, unfortunately, a lot of folks with it, but we have to continue to hold a high watch and hold a deep heart space for everybody making their own choices. Our invitation to you out there is to take it upon yourself deliberately to change your mind by changing your time. We're dealing with mental issues on a level that is heretofore unseen, but that's also because we're being impaled by deliberate spraying of chemicals and metals over urban populations, particularly in the United States, as another deliberate way to ensure control and confusion. They don't want you to wake up to the fact that you're already in tune with nature if you would just align your consciousness to that. They don't want you to wake up to the fact. It's inconvenient if you were to wake up to that fact, because then the gig would be up. And so those of us who chose to incarnate at this time, I think, came here with an understanding that this would be a pretty murky, challenging, and transformational time. So I want people to be encouraged, because I know a lot of people are going to hit the New Year's and they're going to have a momentary reset along the lines of the script that we've all been tracking and being made to track for 441 years. However, that frequency 441 is no coincidence that is the absolute frequency of Sirius B. Okay, let's be clear about that. That is the 441 mathematically is 21 times 21. That's the inverse of 12 times 12. So 144 is the inverse of 441. Now, some of you out there may resonate with the number 144 for very clear reasons, because your soul is actually attuned to that particular frequency. It's a frequency match. And so you might find yourself in your day looking at the clock and it's 144, looking at the clock and it's another particular 441, for example, or other particular what they call angel numbers or numerological significances, master numbers and the like. Numbers are everything, right? We've not, in the West in particular, been properly introduced to numbers. We've been made to think of numbers as only quantifiers, whereas numbers actually communicate universal qualities. And it doesn't discriminate. It's a universal language of number. It's not culturally specific. There's no singular culture who can claim onus to numbers. They are of a higher cosmic order of consciousness. And that's why numbers are what are used to communicate and get humanity in alignment with what's really going on in the cosmos. Another thing about that rainbow bridge is that's a specific response to the fact that humans behaved very badly in the past century by detonating atomic bombs. I mean, what are we doing? What are we actually celebrating? And we are beguiled to celebrate war and destruction, actually. And we have no idea what we're impacting, not just to the physical earth, Pachamama, but also to our galactic community. Part of what I want people to become sensitive to as well is we're not alone in the cosmos. Although our planet, for very specific reasons, has very much been under quarantine for a very long time. I know that's a mouthful for people maybe hearing it for the first time, but it's a fact. We're not the first human race here, okay? We're a new iteration of that, but there have been species here, as archaeology is proving now, as science is showing us a different lens to view some of these facts that are only now becoming conscious. We're a new installment, basically. And we're collectively doing a pretty terrible job, actually, of taking care of the planet. So if we don't firstly just face some hard truths, we're not going to have too many other New Years, so to speak, to celebrate. We have to understand it's not like everything is just determinate and everything's going to be terrible and end. It's up to us. It's actually up to our choice. And so just like anybody out there that wants to lose weight with their New Year's resolution, or they want to, whatever it is that people say they want to do as a New Year's resolution, we're inviting you to first start by changing your mind. And then whatever resolution you make past that, you will succeed. So change your consciousness by changing your calendar. And that's why we promote this idea today of a new time resolution. And folks can find links for that new calendar in the chat. I think it's being shared in the chat group, both on Facebook, Planet Restoration's Facebook page, as well as over at the Planet Restoration YouTube channel. So please, it's pinned to the top of the YouTube channel for sure. So download the free copy of the 13-month, 28-day transitional calendar for 22-23, as we're in this transition of Gregorian years. And it's going to be something, I think, that's going to give you a different perspective that will be both harmonious and transformational. And if you want to learn more about it, please tap in and, certainly reach out to us, and we'll be happy to engage in further conversation with you. Let's bring Bilal back in the conversation. We can't hear you, bro. You're on mute. Nope, don't hear you. You might have to hang up and dial back in because the audio I don't think is connected. So while we do this, I want to, as we're in the momentum of things, I want to invite our dear brother, Manifest Ra, onto the broadcast so that he can join us and tap in a little bit. It was a true pleasure the past since December 12th and his 52nd birthday, to be able to intentionally acknowledge both your elderhood. Now you are truly our elder. You're still within, I guess, the first 20 days of that. So congratulations. You're like a newborn. And it's true. That's one thing to bear in consciousness. When you track your life according to the 52-year cycle, the idea is it's a spiral. So it's not a terminus point. You don't turn 52 and things suddenly go downhill. Actually, you turn 52 and things spiral up because you're at a completely new turn of the spiral with the wisdom you've actually collected all those 52 years prior. So how are you feeling, Manifest? How's this first 20 days of your 52 years? How's it going?
Well, I like the youngsters say, man, it's time to turn up.
Oh my God.
I mean, literally, yeah, exactly. Well, that's really the mantra we all should have, to upgrade ourselves, to continue to evolve, particularly in these very intense times of planetary and galactic transformation. So I've been intentional about my personal upgrades for some time now. However, when you brought more light to my scenario, 50-second cycle here, and the importance and the value of that, particularly in the galactic time, I'm even more intentional now of being disciplined, of continuing on my healing modalities, spiritual healing and cosmic elevation work. So it's just an honor to be here amongst you good brethren, Makua, Ruben, Bilal. I know Bilal was joining us somewhere. He's probably making cosmic music somewhere. There he is right now.
I'm here. Can you all hear me now?
Yep, we got you now.
All right, wonderful.
Sounds great.
Give thanks, Papa.
Good thanks.
Yes,
so it's a pleasure to be here, man, and I'm enjoying the conversation. And it's anytime we can speak, there's power in the spoken word. Anytime we can articulate how we are experiencing these times from that place of awareness, it brings a light within itself. Oftentimes we can kind of sit and say, okay, I'm going to kind of just allow this to marinate within my own being and go through my own experience. But there's some value in speaking how you are navigating so that others can enjoy the testimony, can enjoy the example, can maybe get a word of insight. So everybody here is sharing great insights on the essence of calendar change and why it's imperative that we have that. We're at a point now where we can no longer go along with business as usual. We hear that cliche all the time. Yeah, business as usual is unsustainable. Well, as you said, Brother McCool, the Gregorian calendar is a business calendar. So business as usual is no longer sustainable. Business is closing down, to be quite honest, the way things have been going. So it's it's time that we all, and everybody I think is looking for something. People may not know how to convey it, but they're kind of going through this what oftentimes people in our families and our communities are saying, very weird times. And that's because there's a disintegration, an unraveling of the old way. And it is of the utmost importance that they understand that there is another way, because if not, what we'll find is that people will try to cling to what's going out because that's all they know. Like, oh, hey, this 9-to-5 job, I just got to hold on to it. This old, Gregorian calendar, I just got to hold on to it. My credit cards, whatever the old programming is, they feel like they need to hold on to it because right here, right now, they don't see another way. Or they don't, even if they see some people walking around with, spiritual names and certain practices, you're like, those people over there in left field, So how can we make it practical and bring it down in layman's terms so that people can get it? And I think that's what we're doing. You all are doing with the calendars. I'm affirming that more people will download those calendars and begin to just see how it resonates with them. Read up on that. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to join the conversation, to be here among you great luminaries on this auspicious day.
In Lakesh.
Thanks.
I wanted to add real quick. We did the light activation, and props to you, brother, and Heal Humanity for holding that space and presenting that to the world in such an important turn of the energy. I mean, we know that was 12/12 to 12/21. We marked those 10 days very intentionally, deliberately every day. And we also saw some consequential shifts, not to say that we directly caused them, but we're complementing those shifts. We're a part of it together because it's a collective shift underway. And I thought it was very interesting that one of our presenters, Dr. Lori Ann Perlman, made a very astute observation of diagnosing humanity with what she termed a diagnosis of Stockholm syndrome, where there's an attachment, as you're talking about, to something that's completely contrary to your well-being, but there's also a psychological surrender of sorts, or something gets broken where, where that attachment grows even stronger. And so this is what we are witnessing. This is what she diagnosed, for lack of a better word, the human collective is actually encumbered by, about the Stockholm syndrome. But I think it reflects what you're also sharing as well, about how people are less inclined to make a shift if it may seem impossible to them. And so that's going to even double down their relationship to that which is actually a great duress to them. And so I want to thank you for, again, helping facilitate space where we can have a conversation like this, and prayerfully it can land in people's consciousness out there in a meaningful way. And then also provide resources and tools, applicable tools, easy on-ramps for them to begin to make this shift in a good way that doesn't leave them feeling disoriented, because that's another part of it. Oftentimes, people will begin to feel dissociated or disoriented in a time of transition. And I also think people are under great bereavement, because there's been so much death, honestly, happening at such a unbelievable, phenomenal scale. When do we properly have time to grieve? That's a question nobody's really asking. But there's such a high scale of death in the past 3 years, then compounded with global conflict and war. I mean, we are one being called the Earth. We are one being called humanity and the Earth, right? There's only one of us here. We have to create safe spaces and a proper way for us to actually collectively grieve and heal also. And I think that's one of the reasons why shifting your calendar and becoming more sensitive to that is so very important. I want to encourage people, as we will welcome Bilal back momentarily. You can see here on the screen, there is a petition that we've been presenting for many, many years, called the Calendar Referendum. We initially presented it as the Calendar Referendum 2020, and it was launched October 11, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 2016, which was Indigenous Peoples Day, formerly referred to as Columbus Day. But we're doing our job to transmute some of those inappropriate energies and Stockholm syndrome relationships consciously. So fortunately, many people who are waking up decided, let's actually call this Indigenous Peoples Day, which is far more appropriate in memoriam and in celebration. And so we were guided, Ruben and myself, with the Calendar Referendum Initiative, to launch that petition that you see on the screen on that day, Indigenous Peoples Day in 2016. And you can see we have over 11,000 people have signed it in that time. And it's actually been interesting, the numbers, as they've kind of grown in little bits and waves over the years, being this petition's been out since then. And here we are now, nearly 7 years later. So I just want to point to that to encourage people also. This is something else you can do to help us collectively make the transition. Actually decide. It's like voting with your dollars. In this case, you can elect a new calendar with your signature, just giving your voice to the movement of calendar reform to shift to a harmonic standard on a planetary scale, while we have the time to do so. No pun intended. But we certainly invite you to go there and add your signature, thereby adding your voice to that petition that we want to, ensure people become more aware of. I mean, there's a lot of choices people are going to be made to make here in the very near future, in the coming years. Among them, we know there's a big shift toward the singularity transhumanist movement, and I'm completely opposed to that crap, just simply given that it's not in any way organic. I think one scale we can begin to really simply use to determine if something is actually in our best interest or not is if it's organic or inorganic. And we have to be very careful these days, because our words do catalyze change. They'll also get you canceled. But we also got to go beyond our comfort zone and speak truth to power, because if we're not going to do it, then who the hell is going to do it? And that's my sense of it. And that's why bringing the movement forward at this time is so critical. making conscious. It's the 441st year we've lived under the enforced duress of the Gregorian calendar. How many God blessed years is it going to take for us to actually snap out of it? Like Bilal said, you can't hide the truth anymore. You can't keep the human family apart anymore. It's just now a matter of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Bilal.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention is I want to alert you all that when you go to PR1328, the website, for your convenience, we have there's a part at the top where if you go to links and then you go to sister sites, we have our 13-month, 28-day link there. We have our Harmonic Factor link there and our Activation Allowed link there. We plan to add more of our family there as well. Like my own platform, which I'm working on, which is Heart Work. That's coming soon. As well as Heal Humanity. We would love to add that. So, Planet Restoration is a family hub, and, just for your convenience, everything will be there, to get you to where you need to go. So I just want to share that. So, it's all in one place, and we'll be adding more as well as we galvanize the family, So give thanks.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
and I'll also mention I do have a sharing, in the tradition of the movement, saying I do have an artistic sharing when you're ready. I have
Okay.
a verse of the song.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. All right, we'll come to that momentarily. I want to ask Ruben, do you have any reflections? Obviously, we're saying a lot of things, and we know you've been very much a leader in this transition. So I'd love to check back in with you in this conversation.
Yeah, well, a lot of very, very important points were made by Brother Manifest and by you, by also by Balal, and just want to to invite also people to make this an everyday conversation. It's not just for December 31st and January 1st that we are going to speak about this. The invitation is always to keep this conversation alive, and each one of us is broadcasting a frequency. So we say humans tend to say, oh, but I'm only one person who what I cannot change the world, but we are not fully conscious of how important it is to shift that mindset to a natural time frequency, so that our biorhythm starts to entrain with a larger reality, which is based on the cycles of the moon, the cycles of the sun, the cycle of the star Sirius, and how that synchronization is informing us. Time informs biology, and to inform is to give form. This entire year in the 13 moon calendar is the year of the self-existing moon of form, which is also connected to the water, connected to flowing, and to the archetype of the healer, because those two resources, water and time, are really the most important resources we need to take care right now. It's they are connected in many ways, metaphorically and physically. There is a scientist called Dr. Masaru Emoto who declared National Water Appreciation Day, July 25th, as part of this consciousness of connecting the water with the flow of time. And also want to like acknowledge and make conscious that we are these tools are tools for redemption. The artificial timing frequency tends to go in the direction of the machine, which is what Jose Arguelles presented back in 1987 as the Mayan factor, the path beyond technology, a path beyond the machine. So now that we are deep into this threshold of evolving through better and more advanced machines and the transhumanist agendas, and we are meeting artificial intelligence into the eye, and we are kind of already making it part of our everyday life. We really need to make conscious that we have the power. Our organic consciousness has the power to overthrow any artificial or non-organic consciousness. So each individual tracking these natural cycles, it's elevating the frequency of the entire species in ways that we can not even imagine. But the purpose of the petition, the purpose of the tools, and the purpose of the articles is always to encourage people to make that shift, that mind shift. The more this is like in any other event in nature, when we reach a critical mass, this is an exponential process. It starts to grow in an exponential way, and it becomes completely reversible. So we are right now in that threshold where we can see these competing timelines between the Gregorian calendar and the time of the machine, and the organic path of evolution. And we were discussing and speaking 10 days ago about this importance of December 31st, 2012 as a major threshold for the entire species. And since then, it's been only 10 years, but within this way of conceiving time, the natural time, 10 represents manifestation, planetary manifestation. So here we are manifesting a new website, manifesting these opportunities for people to get in touch with what is happening behind all the drama that we see on media, on mainstream media, and tune into a larger hologram that is organic, that is alive, that is informing us all the time, every second, and that is part of nature. Is how the miracle of life actually takes place within the womb. Millions of small operations and processes between cells have to happen in order to from a sperm and an egg to create a baby. All these mutations and multiplications of the cells, they have to happen in an orchestrated way so that a work of art, like as a new human being, can be born. So let's tune into that. Let's tune into this is not the only natural calendar, but is the one that is really pacing our biology and the women's fertility cycle, and the Tolkien is pacing that human gestation cycle. So let's just transcend today, that is on the Tolkien, like a day of rhythmic healing. Let's transcend these differences between my calendar is better than this calendar, and the indigenous calendars are better than this calendar, because this is an indigenous calendar. Many nations of the world, the Lakota, the Essenes, the Celts, the Polynesians, they were using a 13 moon 28-day calendar. We just lost memory of that because of the prolonged use of the Gregorian calendar. So this 10-year threshold, after crossing December 21st, 2012, and receiving this new light from the center of the galaxy, this alignment with galactic center, is basically reaching our DNA at this moment and awakening to our true origins and destiny on this earth. So this is a really momentous time, and an unprecedented opportunity to shift our minds, shift our time, shift our lives by just changing the perceptual filter that we use. It's that simple. It's not really complicated, and we want the new generations also to learn this, and that's why we do this work every year in ways that are we do our best to make it different, to make it also easier and fun for people to learn. And a lot of the support that we are asking is just to produce more materials for kids, and to really make this make the best out of this opportunity to shift the consciousness of the planet before the closing of this year 441 and these 21 cycles of 21 years, and also foreseeing a major synchronization or harmonic convergence of timelines that is going to happen as we complete 443 years of the Gregorian calendar. And so on the article, you can find details on what is happening behind the scenes, and get all the little details that I'm not speaking about in the broadcast, but it is worth it's a worth reading, especially today. And just in reading it, you are doing a service for the entire planet. You are really elevating the frequency of the planet. And we woke today to the news of the passing of Pope Ben Ratzinger, and this is a special event because on July 25th, 2022, day out of time, Pope Francis was in Canada speaking to indigenous peoples about asking for forgiveness. So we saw some very powerful scenes that day happening, and the fact that these two events are happening on this year, and on the first event happened on the transition of one galactic year to the next, and this one is happening on December 31st. These are signs. These are signs from spirit. We are in the wave spell of the wind, that is about communication and spirit, and in the spirit of just elevating the frequency of the planet. We are sharing this not as a way to celebrate the death of someone, but as a way to comprehend that there is another story happening in the background that is based on redemption, and is based on the notion that through the natural timing tools we can redeem all the detrimental effects that the artificial timing frequency has created for not only for humanity, for the entire biosphere. We are endangering all life on Earth, and Jose always spoke about the on-tried solution, and at these times like these and transitions like these, it's really, as Brother Manifest said, is time to really end business as usual, and focus from a business oriented calendar to a biological oriented calendar that enhances our well-being, and that enhances our connection with nature, that enhances purpose and meaning to every single aspect of our lives. And in that simple aspect of our free will, we are changing the hologram one little person at a time. So thank you so much for offering the space to share this, and the time also to share this on this special window, because it's really monumental what is happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Ruben. I want to ask Manifest momentarily. Share with the listening audience a little bit about Heal Humanity. As was mentioned, we did the light activation together for those 10 days, very important. Here we are today, very important 10 days later. So this is literally that, 20-day window. Tomorrow will be the full harmonic for you since your birthday.
Mm,
So I want to
mm.
invite you to speak to Heal Humanity right now, just to share briefly, because we also want to bring Bilal up to offer some artistic creativity before we wrap things up today. But I'd love you to just speak a little bit to Heal Humanity and the 5 areas, and then how people can get more information as well to be able to follow up for more with that.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother McCoy, Brother Ruben, and Brother Bilal. So Heal Humanity, similar to Planet Restoration and so many other great institutions who are bringing forth love, light, and divine transformation on the planet. Heal Humanity is one of those institutions, and we welcome collaborations and co-creations with all that are of the light. So Heal Humanity has been around since 2005. Started in Tacoma Park, Maryland, at a place called Sangha Cafe, a fair trade, global fair trade store. And so we brought together just some of the luminaries in the Washington, D.C. area. The people have been doing the work. Mama Ayo Handy was one. And it was an opportunity just to tune in and to envision a better world, a better planet, a better human family. And so from that, Heal Humanity launched the Universal Love Movement. ULM is the acronym, which is synonymous with Om, the yogic mantra Om, which represents oneness, divine love, omnipotence, and transcendence. And so ULM seeks to bring people together from all walks of life in the spirit of oneness, wellness, and awareness. People bridging their divides, coming together, crossing those perceived boundaries, and coming together in love. Now, we know that love is so much stronger than fear, and fear has been gripping the planet, particularly for the past 2.5 years, but for so many other years, because it aligns with the 3-dimensional energy and the Gregorian calendar, fear and division. So Universal Love Movement, just like planetary restoration, at the core of Heal Humanity is universal love. We also have Grow Your Own, which is an initiative that really seeks to educate and inspire and to gather the very best organic and sustainable and regenerative farmers locally, nationally, and globally, to teach people right in their own communities how to grow their own food. That's imperative because we're living in times right now where unfortunately, we have some nefarious individuals, multi-billionaires, and other institutions that are really attempting to co-opt and to monopolize the food source on the planet and to turn everything into a genetically modified source, cultured meats and lab-grown foods and meats and things of that nature. So it's imperative that we grow our own. And it starts with the seeds right here, right now. If you're living in the northern hemisphere, you should be gathering seeds. In the winter time, you can prepare for the launch in the spring, late spring. Even if you're in the southern hemisphere, there's still some growing you can do as well. But people across the world, if enough of us, when enough of us take responsibility for our own food source, what goes into our mouths, what goes into the ground, what we're feeding, what we're growing, and what we're eating, then we not only can we grow our own, but we can control our own, meaning collectively the people. Also enlightened earth. So enlightened earth, we have so many institutions that are aligned with 3D, everything from the educational, the legal, the healthcare systems, you name it. How we organize our communities are aligned with outdated time. All of those things are aligned with the old way. So we know what we don't want. Oftentimes we're going on and on pontificating about what we don't want the old world, but how often do we articulate and envision what we do want? So enlightened earth is actually bringing together people all across, grassroots as well as some of the best and brightest minds, to come together and say, what kind of world do we want? What kind of educational system do we want? What kind of healthcare system? What kind of governance do we want? And then bring the resources the mental and the intellectual capital, as well as the grassroots activism, to actually move forward on these new systems that we're envisioning. And then also
hopefully he gets
natural immunity community. And so real quick, natural immunity community,
real quick,
we all should be taking responsibility for our own well-being. That's imperative right there. And then 5D, hey, we need to raise the vibration and move beyond 3D, as we've said before. So I'm excited to be working with Planet Restoration, Foundation of Neurospheric Consciousness, and Unify, and so many other organizations that are out there doing great work. And let's do what we do, what we came here to do.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing what you've been able to galvanize with these various initiatives, man. It's very informational. And again, I think in terms of a pragmatic approach, it's very roots oriented. And that's exactly what we need right now. So big up to you in this next phase, in this next 52-year cycle, your cycle of return, as they call it. But for you, bringing these kind of initiatives forward is very, very timely. So thank you so much for that. And I made sure Ishel has put in the link in the chat where people can sign up to the email list to follow up with you for more information. And we know this will be a recurring thing with us, as it always has been. Just now, the past, with activation, and we've done a couple of digital things over the past couple of years, but I know as a way to engage more of the human family around the world, we're going to be doing a lot more of this, I would imagine.
Sure.
So thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
And Brother Bilal, see you back.
Yes, family.
Thank you. I would say the stage is yours. You mentioned you were going to share something in the tradition of the movement event.
Okay, give thanks.
Absolutely.
First of all, just real quick, I wanted to open up letting you all know, like I was mentioning, I'm working on my heart work site, and that will contain my jewelry. I have some really nice jewelry, got some prayer bracelets, I got some prayer beads as well, which is a big part of the heart work. It deals with the chanting, the zikr form of meditation, which helps hone in the mind and focus. And my book will be there as well. I have a book on Amazon called Champs, which stands for Chi, Health, Art, Meditation, Prayer, and Satsang. So all of that will be on the PR13 website once it's ready, as well. So just wanted to let you all know that's my initiative that I'm bringing forward. And the other thing that I wanted to do was just kind of put out some vibes, put out some love, and just name some of the great elders that are great pillars and were great pillars of the movement as we jumped it off. So just in reverence, respect, and love, Ima Deborah. Yes, that's our great mother, the mothership. Our great teacher and Baba, Sri Charles. He brought forth the Agnihotra. He taught us the science of Agnihotra, which is a huge pillar of what plant restoration is about, because it's one of those high sciences and technologies that we need in this time. And the uses is so needed in so many various fields. Dr. Ando, which is one of my great teachers as well, world-renowned botanist, amazing human being, Dogon priest as well. And, honor and respect, because all of these great masters have passed away. All the ones that I just, mentioned, they've passed away, though we feel their energy moving with us in this movement and all that we're doing. So I would be remiss not to bring them up, and of course I have to shout out one of my great teachers, Baba G, as well. He's alive and living, and he's my mentor in jewelry, spirituality, and life and everything. So enough honor to him as well. So, we're all about big upping the generations, the elders, and all of that, So I had to do that first.
Of course.
Yes. All right, so I'm praying that you all will be able to hear the music as I'm singing, the voice and the music. So here we go. And I'll mention, I've never performed any of my solo music, even at the movements. So this would be a first, okay? This is an
exclusive.
Lucy. No. Wanna go, oh yeah, you wanna go, oh yeah. Hey, don't you wanna roll with me? You wanna go to where the air is pure and so sweet, where the stars in the sky clear in the night and so bright, and waterfalls, sweet paradise. There's a treasure waiting at the end of the rainbow. If you'd only open up your mind, the Most High will lead you to a sweet inspiration so divine it makes you want to cry. It's paradise, paradise, paradise. Close your eyes, visualize paradise, paradise, paradise. It's paradise, 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 paradise. Tonight, oh yeah, I know you don't wanna leave, feeling so at home, and I know you're feeling at peace. Yo, you can fly in the sky, play with the birds if you'd like. After all, it's paradise. Inspiration. Okay. Yo. And there's a star so serious that shines like transmissions, illuminating all space and time. Paradise, 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 paradise. Hey. Paradise, paradise. Close your eyes, visualize paradise, paradise, paradise. Yeah, paradise.
All right. There we go. Working how to deal with backstage here. So thank you, Bilal. That was awesome. We give thanks for that. Paradise exclusive right here, bringing that live movement energy to the world. So we give thanks for that. And I know we're here in the last few moments. So I'd love to invite either of you, if you have any parting thoughts or ideas, to share with folks right now, kind of as we wrap up today, and just understand this will be the first of a moonly broadcast. So basically, every moon, and you can find the details out at pr1328.com for the schedule. But every moon, we will be back here on day 19 to hold this energy through, at least through the cosmic moon this year. That's the intention. And one of the day 19s happens to be Earth Day. So we're really looking forward to that, because for us, that's one of the pillar days that we've been observing and energizing, along with Indigenous Peoples Day, Day Out of Time, and the Biogenetic New Year in January. So excited for that for everybody. But thank you. Either of you that would love to offer some closing remarks.
I'll let my good brother Ruben do it.
Well, just give thanks for all the work that was done this year, and for all the people who are awakening on Earth, for all life, for embracing and transcending all differences, and allowing our intentions to align with the Most High, with the divine plan. There is a really, the universe is playing like a beautiful symphony, and we just need to tune our eyes, our ears, and our hearts to this frequency, and everything is going to be all right, as Bob Marley says. Because right now the only way to really shift the consciousness of the planet is by doing the inner work first. And so I invite everyone who is watching this broadcast today, live or in the future, to make that shift, to really allow everything that we talk during these broadcasts to sink in with a why in their hearts, and allow it to reveal to you what is the right thing to do, what is the right path, what the universe wants you to, the melody that the universe wants you to play on this earth. And also want to take this opportunity to present or to announce that by the closing of this 260-day cycle, which is the 50th since this new consciousness of a new time is on Earth, we will be presenting the full version of the Cosmic Time Ephemeris, which is one of the advanced tools that we are going to start promoting as a way to really see and be able to appreciate the hidden harmony that is behind the current drama that is playing on Earth. And on these two, we make emphasis on the golden proportion, which is the frequency of nature, how nature expresses herself in myriads of forms, from an atom to a galaxy, and how we can be part of this fractal tapestry of consciousness that is always using what is called the golden proportion, or the Fibonacci sequence, the phi ratio, to grow and to expand, and that's part of the spiral. We are in the wave field of spirit again, and this year 2022 is then being gone with the wind, literally. And then the year 2023 is going to start tomorrow with yellow resonance star, which is the heart of this wave spell of from King 222 to King 234, Cosmic Wizard, is at the center. So this energy of governing or holding the entire Gregorian year is about resonance, elegance, beauty, and art. So make those keywords part of your creation this year and make it resonate across the fabric of time. And we hope that we will be announcing more about these cosmic time ephemeris, but it's a complete guide where we basically go through the different layers of the different time systems that are governing life on Earth at this point, including the Gregorian calendar, including all these different layers that we address on the article, and see the hidden harmony that is behind. There are many surprises in 2023. We will be expanding on those in the future episodes of this broadcast and be part of this movement, this evolutionary movement that was ignited not only probably here in this small fractal in 1997, but that was ignited by our ancestors and the wise elders that walked this earth many years ago. So in their memory and the memory of the future generations, aho, mitakiase, thank you for all the work, Brother Makua and Brother Manifest, for also your resilience and determination in keep bringing these initiatives and these ideas to life. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone watching. Aho.
Oh, thank you, Brother Ruben.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And Manifest, any remarks as well? I'd love to hear you.
I would just say, hey, let's go forward in love and light activation and continue to do the inner work, as Brother Ruben just stated. And I affirm life is an inside job. And so what we see out externally, if we really want to alter that, then let's alter what goes on within. And by doing the work, by having a self-assessment, daily self-assessment, check in on how am I tuning into the cosmic flow? Am I aligning with natural time, or have I kind of been more in tune with Gregorian time today? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough rest? Am I communing with nature enough? Or am I kind of being a bit more GMO oriented? And so, it's that awareness, is that that self-assessment that really, I think, is very helpful to us as we move forward, because the most transformative change comes when we live it, not when we speak it, not when we teach it, articulate it, but when we live that, we model that, and then that charges any energy of its own. So I think that's the best way to do this is live. I think what is the World Bridge Media? We have to be the media we want to see.
That's
and
right.
So we can kind of take that and across all of the different modalities and fields of endeavor that we're working in. We have to live it. We have to model it. So let's go forward and let's do that.
Right on. Right on. I want to take a special moment as well to acknowledge the collaborators for the movement original events back in the day. My brother Brent Munch Joseph, Wayusi Baraka, Maori Caramel Holmes, Strawn Teague Holmes as well, my brother Kareem Ali. These souls were very pivotal in the initial phasing of the movement back in 97. And there are many others who will get mentioned and hopefully will be joining in the broadcast live with us as this proceeds over subsequent months. So we look forward to welcoming others out there. And if they're tuning in, we certainly invite them to be in touch and encourage that as well, so we can reconvene at this turn of the spiral. There's a lot for us to yet do together. So we give thanks for everybody tuning in. Brother Bilal, we want to honor him. PR 1328. I want to shout out to Ishel Esta with FNC and PR. Also, big respect for her and all of her contributions. And yeah, the whole human family. So we give thanks to everybody out here tuning in. Thank you for joining the broadcast. And we look forward to tapping in with you further in this way or another. Certainly sign up for the Heal Humanity mailing list in the social threads so you can stay in touch with those various campaign and focus areas and learn how to apply some of these as entry points in your life for making this shift together. And we're certainly doing it together. So with that, we just give thanks and we say Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. All right. Big up, respect. I'm going to find something beautiful to take us out with right now for the listening audience out there. As Bilal is a very significant contributor to the art and music that we often play here, I want to drop one of the recent videos here with his Kepri Music Group label, a song called Love Trust. And I think it's a perfect way to cap this off today. But we give thanks to all of you out there. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll tune in with you very soon. In Lakesh.
Capri Music Group, musical transformation.
Certified organic.
Woo! Vibes. Yeah, serious tones. Yeah, decoding and recoding. Mr. Collin. Word up. We sight it up, we vibes it up. Our tribe is tough, yeah, and we light it up. We showing up, you know it's us. We run the codes and tones. The sun is gold and shining from the soul. We hold it up, you know it's us. We spiral up, hand on the Bible up. And the vibes we trust, and they vibes assess. We on the cusp, you know it's us. Yeah, so pop, top, crank, bump. Don't fake the funk, it's like the skunk. It's going up, so you know it's us. Now come chant with us. Trust.
You've been through enough, see some horrible stuff. Said you looking for what? Baby, don't give up. You are the love, you are a star. Time to feel it, beautiful and brilliant. Keep working on your healing, proving your resilience. Stay focused, hard work pays off. Don't notice, the lane open, keep coasting. Let go the pain for that elevation. Raising the vibes through the meditation.
Yeah, Kel, give us something for the inspiration. Levitation.
Let go the pain for the elevation. Moment aside for the affirmation. I am love and love is me. I give love and I receive. I am strong and I am blessed. I embrace my higher self. I am love and love is me. I give love and I receive. I am strong and I am blessed. I embrace my higher self.
Flame, the active flame, universal flame, it's all the same. We on the vibe, we off the chain. I'm with my tribe, we body the lane. Got body again, we beseech you. I swear you care, you there when we need you. A sacred space, prepare for the regal. Down PCH, you see me through the see-through. Looking for that Capri-ish, I'm the dung beetle. This heart pumps, pure solar light, don't use no diesel. Look at the piece I place on the easel. It says I am LOVEU.
I am love and love is me. I give love and I receive. I am strong and I am blessed. I embrace my higher self. I am love and love is me. I give love and I receive. I am strong and I am blessed. I embrace my higher self. Embrace my higher self.
The sun is gold and shining from the soul. We holding up, you know it's us.
I am strong and I am blessed.
We spiral up, on the Bible up, and the vibes we trust. They vibes is us. We on the cusp, you know it's us.
I am strong and I am blessed.
Trust, so pop top, crank bump. Don't fight the funk. It's like skunk, it's going up.
is about understanding and being understood, and about evolution. We should all be trying to evolve and just be trying to be the best you that you can be. You know, good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good becomes the better and the better becomes the best. Okay.
We also talk about time shifters, that we are not just moving in space, but we are evolving in time. We are a part of a larger plan of cosmic evolution.
I am one with the earth and myself are one mind.
Remember this book of remembrance, buried there within your heart deep. Galactic hierarchy.